And if you could just describe to me what your understanding of Officer Science role was to you as your training officer in May 2016.
To teach me and guide me in how to become complete the duties of being a law enforcement officer.
Officer Haddon, under your understanding of the LAPD rules in 2016, if a victim of domestic violence said that the altercation was only verbal, would that require you to write a report?
No.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to take a look at the first page of what has been marked as deposition exhibit number 1. It's actually number 3, my apologies. And this is an incident recall. What is your understanding of what this document is, Officer Haddon?
It's essentially what is given to us on our computer.
And what do you mean is given to us on our computer?
In our car.
Right, so what happens?
So when we're assigned the radio call comes to our computer in our car, and this is what we see on our screen, but in a different format.
Now, how was this particular call characterized by the dispatch, at least initially?
Initially, it was dispatched as a domestic radio call.
Okay. And what does domestic radio call mean to you?
That there's some type of, whether it's disagreement all the way up to a violent crime that's occurred between two people that are in some type of relationship or have some children in common.
So, Officer Haddon, this comes out into the system and it's accessible by all of the LAPD black and whites that are on patrol that night, correct?
Yes, whoever is logged in and working that night, I could look up any division's radio calls if I wanted to.
And then it has a DS and then ER after stat. What does that mean?
DS means dispatched. ER means we're en route.
So at 8:46 and 37 seconds p.m., your vehicle was en route to 849 South Broadway, correct?
Correct.
Do you recall how far away you were?
I do not recall.
And then it says primary unit PD 1A1-W3. What is that?
That's my call assignment. So the PD is police department. 1A1 is my car assignment. W3 means I work watch 3.
Okay. Then we have at 20:57, which is 8:57 p.m., that is AS. What does that mean?
At scene. Like we're there.
All right. So you arrived at the scene at 8:57 p.m., correct?
Correct.
What did you do then?
We walked to the location.
Do you recall anything that you did before you went up to the penthouse?
We walked in and met with security who showed us where the elevator was.
Did you do anything else?
Not that I recall.
But your best recollection is that you went in, you talked to security, and then you went on an elevator, is that right?
Yes.
Do you recall what time you arrived at the apartment, the penthouse?
No, I don't recall.
All right. Then your next entry here is 21:22. So that would be 9:22 p.m. and 57 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. Met with victim, checked lock, verified husband left location, victim advised verbal. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Who wrote that?
That's what we write when we put the comments of the call of what happened in the radio call. That's what we wrote.
So do you recall whether that was you that wrote that or Officer Science?
I don't recall who wrote it.
All right. And so you were back in your vehicle by 9:22, is that correct?
Approximately, yeah.
Well, if you wrote this at 9:22, would it be fair to say you were back in your vehicle writing this?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you take a report?
We issued a business card.
I asked, did you take a report?
No,
Why not?
because the victim didn't request a report, and during our investigation, didn't reveal that we need to take a report.
So who decided to use the words victim advised verbal dispute?
Whoever created the comments of the call used the word victim. Whoever gave the comments of the call used the word victim. So I don't know who that was.
And I'm even more specifically asking who chose the language advised verbal dispute.
It was either my partner or I. I don't recall who.
Now, what is the significance of writing down verbal dispute?
We're writing what happened, what we believe is happening, and what our investigation revealed.
But you were not present at any time when Ms. Heard discussed whether there was any type of verbal argument. Is that correct?
Was I there? Yes. Was I speaking to her? No.
Was there any discussion of verbal argument in your presence when you were up in the penthouse investigating?
Not that I recall.
You did not hear Ms. Heard say that it was only a verbal dispute, correct?
I did not.
Now, I asked you a little earlier if it's a verbal dispute, whether that triggers having to write a report. And you indicated that it does not. Am I accurately characterizing that?
Correct.
Okay. Now, here, in addition to the victim advised verbal dispute, says and refused to give any further information. You see that?
Yes.
Question. Okay, so if the victim does not want to press charges and advises that it's a verbal dispute, then that would not trigger you writing a report. Is that your understanding of LAPD
policies and procedures on domestic violence at that time?
Correct. There were other circumstances that were also within this incident as well.
What do you mean by that?
During our investigation, we had other reasons to believe that this was true.
I'm sorry, during your investigation, you had other reasons to believe what was true?
That it was a verbal dispute.
And what did you have during your investigation that created in your mind evidence that it was only a verbal dispute?
After discussing the investigation with my partner at the scene, the Ms. Heard refused any medical treatment and had no visible injuries. There was no sign of struggle, and the victim, or correction, the witness that was there that I spoke with was uncooperative as well.
Anything else?
At this time, that's all.
Okay. Now, you recall seeing that Ms. Heard was in tears and was crying and red-faced. Would you agree?
Correct. From a distance.
Well, from a distance, Ms. Heard was in tears, crying, and had a red face, correct?
Correct.
Why did you issue a business card?
It's part of our policy. We're supposed to issue a business card, and it shows that we are there and completed an investigation. And if she would like us to come back, we offered that assistance that we can come back at another time if she feels like she needs us to come back.
Did you take any notes at all?
Note of what?
Notes during the time that you were investigating this call?
No.
Did you take any notes after you got back down to your car about the call?
No.
Did you take any pictures?
No.
Did you record anything?
No.
Would it be fair to say that on 5/21/2016 at 9:22 p.m., you and your training officer, Science, considered this incident closed?
I said, yes, that is correct. At that time, we pressed enter and the call went off my screen, meaning it was completed.
Did you ever have anything come up on your screen again relating to this incident that evening?
Not that I recall.
All right. At the time that you closed out this incident on your screen at 9:22 on 5/21/2016, did you know that this call involved Johnny Depp?
No.
Did you, at the time that you closed this out on your screen, did you recognize Amber Heard?
No, I had no idea who she was.
And is it fair to say that you considered these people to be, quote, just citizens, end of quote?
That's correct.
Did you have any communications at all with Officer Gatlin or his patrol partner the night of May 21st, 2016?
No, not that I recall.
So the next thing we're going to go to